We're about to crack open a story that literally changed the world, the secret war against the German Enigma code. But look, this isn't just some history lesson about spies and old machines. This is the origin story of the digital locks that protect your life today. And we're going to see how the lessons from back then are actually more critical now than ever before. To really get what they were up against, you have to appreciate the sheer scale of the problem. The Enigma machine wasn't just complicated, it was a cryptographic monster. The number of possible ways to set it up was, well, it's a number so big it's hard to even wrap your head around. We're talking more possible combinations than there are atoms in the known universe. Just think about that for a sec.
So that's the real question, isn't it? When trying every single key is not just difficult, but mathematically absurd, where do you even start? Well, you don't look for the one right key in an infinite haystack. You have to hunt for something else entirely, a mistake, a tiny crack in the machine's otherwise perfect logic. To really grasp this, we first need to understand the battlefield the codebreakers were on, and that battlefield has a name. It's called the key space.
Okay, so imagine a giant wall of safes with an almost infinite number of doors. The key space is basically just that, the total number of all possible keys or doors you could try. The bigger the wall, the harder it is to find the one door with the secret inside. In Enigma's wall of safes, it was unimaginably vast. Now, here's what's so fascinating about this whole story. This nearly perfect, mathematically beautiful machine, it was brought down by a single, simple, and in the end, fatal design choice, a tiny oversight. And there it is. That was a chink in the armor. No matter how the machine was set up, no matter what key was being used, a letter like A could never, ever be turned into another A. Now, that might seem like a really small detail, but believe me, it was the one thread the codebreakers could pull to unravel everything.
This one simple rule was a total game changer. You see, the codebreakers often had a good guess about a word that might be in a message, like weather, for weather. They could take that guess and slide it along the encrypted text. If at any point a letter in their guess lined up with the exact same letter in the code, say the E in weather lined up with an E in the ciphertext, boom! They knew instantly that their assumption about the machine's settings for that day was wrong, and they could just toss it out.
So this rule became this incredibly powerful filter. Instead of searching an infinite ocean for one specific key, they could now drain huge sections of that ocean using just pure logic. It turned an impossible guessing game into a puzzle that was still incredibly hard, but solvable. So how do you actually use this flaw at scale? I mean, you can't do it with just people and pencils. This is where one of the earliest thinking machines comes into the story, and it was dreamed up by the brilliant mind of Alan Turing.
Now, Turing didn't build a machine for just brute force. No, he built a logic machine. The Bombe wasn't designed to find the right answer. It was designed to find contradictions. Its only job was to rapidly test assumptions and throw out all the ones that broke that one fatal rule. It was literally an engine of elimination.
So here's kind of how this engine of elimination worked. Step 1, an operator would make a logical guess about one of the Enigma's settings. Step 2, they'd plug that into the Bombe, which would then just churn through all the logical consequences of that one guess. Step 3, the machine would hunt for a contradiction. The instant it found a scenario where, say, the letter A would have to be encrypted as A, it would stop. And that stop, in step 4, was the signal. Your initial guess was wrong, throw it out, move on to the next one. This let them test millions of possibilities at a speed no human team could even dream of.
The Bombe kicked off an arms race that has never, ever stopped. It's this constant battle between the strength of our locks and the power of the machines trying to break them. And this race is pretty much governed by one fundamental law.
You've probably heard of it, Moore's Law. It's this famous observation that computing power is on a relentless, explosive growth curve. It's not about getting a little bit better each year. It's about doubling, roughly every year and a half. The phone in your pocket today is a supercomputer compared to the best machines from just a decade ago. I mean, just look at this progression. You go from the clattering relays of the Bombe, which was absolute state-of-the-art, by the way, to the supercomputer in your pocket that can do billions of calculations a second. It's staggering. And now, on the horizon, we have quantum computing, which threatens to be a leap just as big as the one from the Bombe to your smartphone. So, the direct consequence of all this? Every digital lock basically has an expiration date. An encryption method that was considered military-grade and totally unbreakable in 1990 is now something a standard laptop could probably crack in a few seconds. Thanks to Moore's Law, secrecy isn't permanent. It literally erodes over time. So, This is the really crucial point. How does this constant, accelerating race affect the security of your private data right now, today? It forces us to think about security not just for today, but for decades into the future. This brings us to a really important idea in modern cybersecurity, a concept called the lifetime of secrecy. Think about it like this. If a piece of information, like, say, your private messages, needs to stay private for 50 years, then its encryption can't just be strong enough to beat today's computers. It has to be strong enough to resist the computers that haven't even been invented yet, the computers that are going to exist 50 years from now. And here's the kind of scary part. Adversaries can capture and store our encrypted data today, not with the goal of breaking it now, but with the patience to just wait. They're just waiting for Moore's law to deliver a machine powerful enough to shatter that encryption, years or even decades down the line. It's why we have to encrypt for the future. And that leaves us with a final, really critical question. The battle that was started by Alan Turing's and his bombe. It's still happening, right inside every single device we own. So as you go about your day, think about the data you're creating. Is its lock built only for today? Or is it truly built to last a lifetime?